All right, next we'll work on our material requisition flow. So we made the process for once our labor form is filled out, but now we will work with the material information. So we'll hit create. This is going to be automated. We are going to name it material requisition flow, and the trigger is going to be when a Microsoft form is submitted. So we will link to that form in the form ID. And then next, we will select get response. And we'll name this get material form response. And again, we'll link to that form. And then the response ID, we will click dynamic and response ID. And then we'll click save. And then we can just test it out to make sure we're getting the information. So we can go to our material flow and click submit another response. Let's pick 7 linear feet. And let's just say there's no notes. So then we're going to go back to our flow. So we haven't told it to publish in our Excel spreadsheet yet. So what we'll do is we'll go back and then it says that this is run 14 seconds ago. And then we can click on that activity and see what the outputs are. And down here, so remember we have something called the cryptic field name. So, you know, when you have this long string, so I had said that we use 7 linear feet, so we did not use square feet, so nothing is entered there. And got a name, a date, and there were no notes. And then our material was the steel rod. So everything seems to be going all right. We'll go back to edit and add our next step. So our next step, we will search for compose. And the inputs, it's going to be an expression, and so we will type in substring. And then we're going to come down here to dynamic, and we are going to select material ID. And then in our instructions, it says to put a comma. Or after the bracket, we need to put a comma, a 0, another comma, a 7, and then we'll have the parentheses. So we already have a parentheses there. And then we should be in good shape. Remember to rename this. So we're going to rename this extract material ID. And we can just click anywhere and then the plus sign usually shows up. Then our next step. So for that step, it's going to take out the MAT part. So that's going to get us the MAT and -001 or MAT-002. So that's going to pull that portion out. All right, then we are going to search for compose again. And we can label this generate transaction ID. And in inputs, we're going to have an expression, and we will just type this all in. It probably will work if you cut and paste this. We already had the apostrophe, then we need comma. There's no space. Then closing parentheses, then a comma. And then there should be 3 closing parentheses. And then we will click add. And so that's going to create our ID. So it's a combination of the MAT, the a date and time, and then 3 random numbers. All right, then next we're going to get our material details. So we are going to say list rows present. And again, remember you want to look under Excel. And we can rename this to get material details. This is going to be in the OneDrive. And the same file. And the table we are going to use is inventory. And then we're going to go down to filter. And we'll click FX and concat. And then important to remember a space after that EQ. And then we'll have 3 apostrophes. Remember this next apostrophe after the parentheses. Then a comma. And 4 more apostrophes, and then we should be good. So this tells Excel to find the row in the table inventory where the material ID matches the extracted ID. All right, so we're all set with that one. All right, then next we are going to look for compose. And we can rename this. And in our inputs, and remember that the first apostrophe after the bracket. Sometimes forget those. All right, then we should be all set. So this gets the first matching row from table inventory with the material description, and it gets the value in that column. And let's see what I omitted. Oh, I don't know. All I hit was add again, so seems to be all right. All right, then we'll move on to extract unit cost. So compose, we'll name this, and the inputs, it's going to be an expression, and then we have an apostrophe, then a parentheses, then a question mark, then a bracket, then an apostrophe, then the apostrophe, a bracket, parentheses, another question mark, bracket, apostrophe, unit cost, and then we should be good. So I'm not sure why it's giving me the error, because then I just clicked accept twice, and all right, so then we'll hit save. And then we will pause again. And we can rename this. And our inputs are going to be an expression. Then we have the apostrophe, a parentheses, then we need a question mark. Remember that first apostrophe. Then we have a bracket, parentheses, a question mark. Unit. Unit of measure. And then we should be all set. Maybe if I click at the end, like that better. All right, so that's going to get the matching row from the inventory table, and it gets the unit of measure for that type of material. All right, then next we will look for compose again. And we can rename this. And our inputs are going to be an expression. So we're going to type if empty. So this is going to help us with whether we're using linear or square foot. So if linear foot, so now we're going to, so we have if parentheses, empty parentheses, and then we're going to go down to dynamic, and we're going to look under get material form response, and then we are going to select linear feet. Then we're going to type a comma after the parentheses that is at the end of the string. So, all right, and so then after the new comma and then we are going to select square feet, and you might have to click on see more. And then all right, so then we're going to add comma here. Then after this last comma, and before the last parentheses, we're going to click on the dynamic content again, and we are going to select linear feet again. So it says if linear feet is empty, then use the information from square foot, but if linear feet, there's an entry in there, then use the information from linear feet. So I think we should be good. All right, then our next step, so then we have two where we're going to add to our Excel table. So we're going to add row into table. And the table we're going to first use is the material table. And then we're going to hit show all. And first one, transaction ID. We're going to have expression. And a lot of these you can just copy and paste from the Word document. You can hit Control C for control copy, Control V for paste. Then for the job number, we want dynamic information. And from the get material form response, we want job number, material ID. We can just copy and paste that. Click add, material description, another expression, click add, unit of measure, another copy and paste expression, quantity used, so remember, don't type it right in that box. You want to put it in the expression. Few more. Unit cost. And again, I'm just taking these from the Word document. All right, then for our extended costs, So we're going to multiply the quantity times the cost. Should be able to copy and paste this. Just double check. Outputs is all together, so I think that will work. The employee requesting going to be dynamic. And the date requested, that's going to be dynamic. Date of request under the get material. The notes. And the timestamp is going to be an expression. All right, then I didn't rename it. Sometimes other activities reference this, so our description is add row to table materials, and then it should be good and hit save. And then we have our last one. All right, so that added to the materials table, but now we need to add to our job cost table. So we're looking for add row. Again, make sure to look in Excel Online and into a table. And the table is the job cost table. All right, and then our last batch of entries for this. So our transaction ID. So remember to get our expression. I can do Control C and Control V. Our job number. It's going to be dynamic. And we can go get the job number here. Our date is going to be dynamic. Our labor cost, we're going to leave blank because we're dealing with the materials. Then our material cost is going to be an expression. And we should be able to copy and paste this one. So Control C, Control V. So it's going to be the quantity used times the unit cost. We can leave our overhead applied because we filled that out with the labor. And then a timestamp just remember that would just be a text, so we're going to do it as part of the expression. All right, and we should be good with that. So now the moment of truth, other than I didn't rename this. Save. All right, so let us fill out the material form again. And in the Word document, it gives you some numbers to use. So let's use the steel rod and 10 linear feet. And so we should have information in the material table and also the job cost sheet. So here we've got our 10 linear feet and the unit cost. So we can come back here and verify that. And then we go to the job cost and it pulled the material cost from here. So far so good. Then we just have one more flow to make.